Hi, I'm Debbie Hartner. I'm Elsie Johnson. We are two sisters, Southern Cooking. Hey y'all, it's Debbie. So we are doing Italian night tonight again. So we love Italian, by the way, if you don't know that. We're Southern girls who love Italian food. So we are doing calzones tonight, and we're also doing some dips. We're going to do a crab dip. We're going to do a white pizza dip, and we're doing Italian bread right now. So that is proofing over in the oven. I'm going to go ahead and make our peach filling. So if you don't have a can of peach filling, which you can use, a 14-ounce can of peach filling, you can use this. And I'm just going to go ahead and make a slurry, get that started, and then we'll take it off the heat and put our peaches in, and then we'll add in cinnamon and we'll add in vanilla. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my water, and I'm going to go ahead and add in my sugar. And as you know, sugar is basically a wet ingredient. And I'm going to go ahead and add in lemon juice. And lemon juice helps to give it a little bit of a brightness, kind of cuts down the sweetness a little bit. Gives it like a sweet tarty taste. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is add in my cornstarch. And this here is my thickening agent. So I'm going to go ahead and get that in here. And I have a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and then after we get it thickened up, then we'll add it in our peaches and then our other ingredients. But for right now, I'm going to just kind of whisk this to get it thinned out so we don't have a lot of clumps and lumps, because we don't want to start it out with clumps and lumps. So I'm going to go ahead and whisk this up really good, so we make sure we get everything integrated, so when we do build it, it is a smooth, kind of like, almost like a pudding consistency. So I do have it on high heat right now, because I do want to get this to a boil, and a thickened boil, actually. And then we will be able to remove it from heat and then add in our peaches and our rest of our ingredients. The reason why you don't add in your vanilla when you're first starting out is because you want that taste. Vanilla is a great balancer of taste. So you want to be able to make it, just give it a little brightness to the taste of it, and add extra flavor. In just a moment, I might go ahead and start turning down my heat a little bit. So I'm about medium high, because I don't want to burn my slurry here that I'm making into, so I can thicken up my peach filling. Because this will be similar to the texture of what you would buy in the store when you are buying a can of like the apple or the peach filling that you put in your apple pie or peach pie. It's already pre-made. And it's building up nicely. I'm going to go ahead and cut it down to like medium high. And that way I don't want it to be too thick, too quick, because I don't want it to burn. Oh, it's thickening up really beautifully. Good job. All right. So I got it to where I have it almost to a thickened consistency here. I'm going to go ahead and turn my heat off here, because I keep stirring it because I don't want it to burn. Beautiful. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and let me move this around here so we don't get burned. As you see, looky here. That's exactly what I want right there. It's almost like a gelatin. Maybe thicker than a gelatin, not quite as thick as a pudding. So I'm going to go ahead and add in my vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and add in my cinnamon. I added in 1 teaspoon of cinnamon because I like a lot of that fall flavor. So mix it all in so it's all nice, well incorporated. And then I'm going to start dishing up my peaches. Now, I don't want my peaches to have a lot of liquid on them. I want them to have just a little bit, just enough. I'm going to stir these in. I've drained my peaches really well. These are peaches that we put up from the summer. We have frozen peaches. I had some, Elsie had some, so we put them together and combined them. Make about 5 cups of peaches. And this will go into our peach pizza. And it's going to be a sweet pizza. It's a dessert pizza. Oh, that's going to be so good. Look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? I can't wait to try this. Okay. I'm actually going to put it back onto the stove for just a couple minutes and just let everything kind of marry together and thicken up a little bit more. And we'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Hey y'all, it's Debbie. So I'm letting it thicken up a little bit here. There's just something missing. So I'm going to go ahead and add in about a quarter teaspoon of nutmeg. That's like fall in your mouth right there. And I'm going to mix that in. It just needed that extra brightness, the extra flavoring. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll put that in and we'll let that marry a little bit. But I wanted to thicken it up a little bit more. And then we're going to take it and we're going to put it aside and let it cool down, and then we'll be able to make our sweet peach pizza. And there's not going to be any savory in it. The only thing that's going to be savory in this is going to be the crust. And I'm going to use actual pizza dough crust that I got from the store. Just roll it out. And you can actually buy the peach pie filling if you want to, and just cut out all the stuff that I'm doing right now. But they didn't have any in the store. So I made my own. So, but I did want to add a little bit of extra flavor in there because it desires something to be extra. So this is what we're going to do. So I will show you what it looks like when we're getting ready to put it on our pizza dough and get everything else put together.
Hey y'all, we have our pizza dough on a cast iron pizza pan that I have.
So the pizza dough didn't work out well. So we used our Jiffy pie crust, so that's what we're going to use.
It really don't matter because this is a dessert. So
one thing that I wanted to tell you I learned, this is a new trick. I take butter and I put it on the bottom of my pan. This is with all my baking of sweet stuff now. And I put melted butter on it, and then I take sugar, probably about a quarter cup of sugar, and dust it all over and then dump out the excess. And it leaves such a delicious, crusted, crystallized deliciousness on the bottom of it.
And that actually uses in place of like your baker's joy, or
because you're using butter
baking spray, instead of doing like your flour and your spray mixture together.
Right.
So anyway, so you're going to spread a little bit of the butter on there.
Yes.
And I'm going to take the brown sugar and our cinnamon, and I'm going to combine it with the flour that we have here. This is going to be our topping that goes on top of here. This is going to be...
It's almost like a streusel.
Yeah, it's going on before we put our peaches on.
So we're going to have to bake this first in the oven before we put our peaches on, and then we will come back. But this will be at 425 for about 5-7 minutes or so, just enough to get a little crust. Now this is going to puff up, so don't be alarmed if it looks kind of thin to you, because this is a pie crust and it will thicken up. So it's hard to put a square or a triangle
into a
or
circle.
a rectangle
into a circle.
So, and by the time we tried to put it together and like make it into a ball, it was already getting tough. So I was like,
Yeah, so I mean, if you can find you the pizza dough that's in the refrigerated section that's in a circle, you know, you can open them from a can and sometimes they come in a circle. That would work fine for a round pan. You could even actually do this in a rectangular pan, but we were doing it in a round pan, so that's where we come into the issue. Okay, we got our crust buttered. So I'm going to pour in the rest of the butter. You want to kind of scrape what you can out of here. Get all of it. Okay.
You would think it might do a little better with the
Yeah, let's just
whisk.
Yeah, let's just kind of break it up.
It's going to be like a streusel, so it's not going to be like perfectly combined. It's going to be like
Right.
chunks
Right.
because it'll melt that butter.
Okay, let's see. I want to take, a couple of them and put in there because we're going to reserve 2 tablespoons and that gets sprinkled on after it comes out of the oven on the first bake. Okay.
Get sprinkled in with the peaches.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just sprinkle it on top here.
That's going to be so good. Look
Yeah,
at
I
that.
can't. Yeah, I can't. This would be also good with doing it with apples.
Yes.
The same concept.
Yeah.
I bet you'd be good with cherries. With cherry pie filling.
Mm-hmm.
Any type of fruit like that. Even blueberry filling.
Mm-hmm.
Because fruit's fruit, you
Right.
know. I wonder how strawberries would be if you try it with strawberries. I don't
think
know.
strawberries are going to be too delicate
Yeah, probably.
to do that with.
Yeah, probably. But I could see blueberries, cherries, and apples for sure.
Ben was showing me some dessert yesterday that was a cherry pie cookie, and it looked like it was made in a muffin tin, and it did look good, but I don't know how I would like something that thick.
Right.
Pretty thick.
Right.
So,
Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven for 5 to 7 minutes at 425 degrees, and then we'll bring it out. We're going to actually take a slotted spoon so we don't get as much of the syrup when we sprinkle this on, the peaches on.
because you got a lot of syrup.
Yeah, you have
here.
a lot of syrup in there, and you
there's
don't
a
want
lot.
it to be soggy.
Right.
So, and then this gets sprinkled over top of your peaches, and then it goes back in the oven for 5 to 7 more minutes. And then we'll make our little glaze and sprinkle over top, and then we're going to have really good dessert.
Oh, it's going to be delicious.
It
y'all.
is. It's really going to be good.
We'll be right back.
Hey,
guys.
y'all. The first bake is done on it for 5 minutes, and I think if we had done it for 7 minutes, it would have probably been a little too long because I could smell it. Smelled like it was trying to get too hot. So we stopped it at 5 minutes, took it out of the oven. I'm fixing to put on my peaches now, and I'm gonna spread them around, and then I have some more of the streusel topping to just sprinkle over top once I get it all on here. Now you can actually make this with canned peach pie filling. We had some frozen peaches left, so we just made our own peach pie filling homemade, which is fine too, but you definitely can do it with a pie filling.
Oh, it smells so good. Oh, wow. That's going to be so pretty, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
sprinkling the extra streusel we had left over, and then we're going to put it back in the oven for like, what, 5-7 minutes?
Yeah.
And let it bake. Because the pizza crust has to finish baking also.
Right.
So, it looks so good. And then we're going to drizzle a confectionery sugar and milk glaze over top of it. I can't wait to share this with you guys when it's done. It's going to be so good. This is a perfect dish for any time of the year, especially in the fall, because it has all those fall flavors in it. You have like a lot of cinnamon, nutmeg, a lot of good fall taste in your mouth here.
All right. I need to get my pot holders again because this is still hot.
Yeah, it is.
And put it back in the oven for 5 to 7 more minutes to finish baking, and then we will make our glaze to drizzle over top of it.
All right, guys. We will see you when it comes. Hey, y'all. So we are making the milk confectionery glaze that goes on the top. So I'm going to put about, let's put about a 1/2 cup of sugar in here. And I know you're wondering, why am I putting it in this? This shakes and it will mix it together. So I'm just going to put a little bit, about a tablespoon. Shake it up really good. And if I have to add in some extra sugar, I will. If it's too thin. I don't think so. I think it's really good. I might add just a little bit more. I just want it to be a nice glaze. I don't want it to be too thin. I don't want it to be too thick either. Okay, I think that's good enough for government work there. All right, we'll go ahead and get ready to bring the pie back in here, and we'll get ready to drizzle it on top, okay? Okay, so Elsie's going to go ahead and drizzle over the milk and confectionery sugar glaze. Oh, that looks so good. I did end up adding about another 1/4 cup of confectionery sugar just to help. I will give you the exact ingredients in the recipe because I go by eye, and if it looks right, then that's exactly what I put in the recipe, so you guys know. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and let this cool down, and we will see you guys in our next video. Elsie.
And I'm Debbie. We're two sisters Southern cooking.
And we thank you for visiting our page. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.
This show is produced by Two Sisters Productions, McRae, Georgia.